Okay, so then maybe we'll start with the new order updates, and then if Dre can join, we'll just jump
Sure.
to him.
Sure. Yeah. So I mean, I can kick off. I think it is a very exciting time at New Order. We've been, we're still a very new project. We're not even a year old, and I think increasingly we've got people and processes that are, I would say that um, evolving like every day, and the outputs and opportunities, I think, seem to be increasing in quality and quantity all the time. So that's super, super exciting. And I think what you'll see is, over the next few months, you're going to see some increased DAO proposals around incubated projects. I think it's been probably mentioned last month, that this base camp, the second cohort is, 8 projects, and I think feel very confident in saying like even a higher quality than the last cohort. So there's a ton of like great stuff going on. Merrick's going to get into a little bit of the decentralization and some of the roadmap. One of the things I wanted to mention was just, I think everybody in the New Order community should just recognize or understand that there is a differentiation between incubation and acceleration. Acceleration, the Basecamp program is meant to be a way for us to scale our ecosystem. And incubation is something that we put sort of very focused attention on, very particular opportunities, valuable opportunities, where we aim to sort of like, let's say, extract like more value of projects for our treasury, right? And so not only are those token allocations going in the treasury, but like those are projects that we are like aiming to deliver airdrops, and again, add to our ecosystem, right? And I think we've got Y2K coming up, so that is super exciting. We've got, I think it's been mentioned now, Wind and IVX are 2 projects that we're excited about, and I think we can expect a DAO proposal around those incubated projects soon. And Redacted is killing it as usual. So there's a ton of like awesome stuff going on, and maybe Merrick, I'll just I'll hand it off to you. I know you've got some items around decentralization and sub DAOs and things like that you wanted to mention.
Yeah, just real quick. I don't want to take time away from like Dre and talking about the other upcoming projects too much. But like, as Eden was sort of alluding to, we sort of spent, I would say, the last quarter and a bit, building up like our capacity as a DAO to like basically do projects in parallel, which includes Basecamp, which you might have know, like people are probably like starting to pay attention to the, let's say, the number and maybe more importantly the quality of projects that we've sort of announced that are really coming along, and we'll be launching soon, TM, right? But yeah, so that's been sort of like the focus, I would say, like of a lot of our time and efforts and focus for the last quarter and a bit. But now it's sort of, I think, time to now that we've sort of had these successes, Y2K launches around the corner, tons of other launches are sort of on the horizon. I think it's really important to kind of like circle back and put a lot more energy. So almost like technical debt, but this is sort of like, I would say, organizational debt, right? And really, for example, like we had this sub DAO initiative a while back. But for whatever reason, like that sort of, it's not that it faded away. I mean, we still have, I would say, like some sub DAO, meetings. Like shout out to the sort of evidence-based decision making / data science group. Like we still meet regularly, but I think it's like more important to just sort of like highlight and as much as possible, like sort of do things, do the work of the sub DAOs as much as possible. In the context of like the public community, right? And so like, some of that, I think it's important to take steps in that direction, right? Is what I'm saying. Like, so, we have to balance that against, like some of the incubated projects, early stage projects, right? That don't want to get front run, right? So like we have to, sort of balance that. But, as much as possible, we'll be, refocusing on the sub DAOs a lot more this quarter. Part of that, I would say effort is going to be to get, I would say more contributors, more builders in the DAO, right? We're going to be building our builder pipeline. And, one of I think the key things that we're going to be doing is running a new order boot camp that's going to be sort of starting in mid to late November. That's going to give, I would say, like, individuals and teams sort of like I would say like, like the necessary background and with some experience, right? Some sort of group experience with getting people ready to start on the incubation route, right? Whether it's contributing to projects, maybe being ready to pitch their own projects, and also with the skills to contribute to the DAO. So we sort of ran one kind of very quietly, like a pilot, over at the end of the summer. And we learned quite a bit from doing that. So, we're going to apply that learning and, open up this program, this bootcamp program to like our community. Obviously the folks on this call are, more than welcome. If you're listening, you're more than welcome to sign up when the announcement goes live. And yeah, it should be good. Like we learned a lot. I think the delivery is going to be a lot better this time. So, that's part of it, to sort of drive, builders, bring builders more builders into New Order, sort of building that funnel. And, I mean, last but maybe not least, folks that are familiar with our Git book, right, have probably found that decentralization roadmap in there, right? And so far, we've pretty much been at sort of like stage 1 of that, right? And so like, it's one of my goals this quarter, to find, the time and people and, all the necessary things to sort of at least move the dial, right? At least move the dial to stage 2 of that roadmap. By the end of this year. So yeah, sorry for the long rant though. I mean, have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff on our minds. So that's sort of a brain dump for me.
Cool. So with all that in mind, I think, it'd be great to have Andre start off by talking about wind. And I should probably mention Andre has been one of the very smartest people that I have worked with in my career, actually. So he's been just an absolute like superstar for New Order. And, I think we're really, really excited to have him lead this project, which we think has, I think we definitely believe this has like $1 billion potential. So Andre, it'd be great if you could, just give everybody a little background on wind. And as I mentioned, I think everybody could expect a DAO proposal around wind in the near future.
Thank you so much for that flattering introduction, Eden. Yeah, so some of you might have seen on Twitter, I introduced Wind Network a couple days ago. I'll quickly kind of get into what we're building and why I think it's not only like a cool thing to add to the crypto space, but actually a necessity in the internet for everybody. Basically, the way the residential proxy industry works right now, people are hijacking residential internet users' IP addresses and renting them out to large corporations like Fortune 500 companies, ad tech agencies, marketing agencies, flight aggregators. The reason for that is actually because for a residential user of the internet, your view of the internet is extremely valuable. As you can imagine, your IP address that you're using, it's viewed by every server on the internet as like the safe residential IP address that is marketable too. But by that I mean, like, when you go and like visit Amazon, everything's tailored towards you. All the prices are tailored to your geolocation, and they do have like sort of a blueprint of who you are as a consumer on the web. For a lot of companies, being able to see the internet from your lens is actually extremely valuable. And there are a few companies out there that sell your view of the internet to these large corporations. The way they're doing that right now is by convincing you to download free software, like free VPNs, for instance, or something like 70% of the apps in the Android store have these SDKs in them that let large companies proxy their traffic through your device. And these companies are actually paying sometimes $10, sometimes $20, sometimes $40 a gigabyte just to see what the internet looks like from your perspective. And you're not seeing any of that money actually. These huge middleman organizations are the ones that are charging web scrapers and large corporations to proxy through your IP address, and you're not seeing a single penny of that. And that's something that we're trying to fix that right now. We're trying to build this decentralized proxy network where you can actually opt in to have your IP address used as a proxy, and you get paid directly in our native utility token. Our long-term vision for this product is actually not only just a piece of infrastructure for blockchain, but also just tackling the wider scope of the data services industry. By that I mean, after we've created this decentralized proxy network, what we want to do is create an app chain where anybody can stake a validator token and create their own router in this proxy network using any device they want, like their laptop or even a server that they're hosting at home. So that, at that point, we'll be fully decentralized. Once this fully decentralized proxy network is up and running, we can actually go ahead and start scraping our own live data sets across any industry vertical and start selling data sets to the vast majority of companies, really. The funny thing is, like, a lot of these large proxy companies that are hijacking your IP for free right now, they're tackling this industry as well. They realize that instead of just selling the proxy network access to large companies for them to scrape data, they realize that they can just scrape these data sets themselves and sell the data sets for like a 300% markup. And we see a lot of potential there. As a protocol, we anticipate that we'll have our own very large validator node in this network, and it'll be relatively cheap for us to scrape data ourselves. And we just see that as being like a huge source of potential, really, because like as big as the proxying and the VPN network industry is, it's something like $25 billion. Big data is 10 times that size, and that's what we really want to tackle long term. So anyway, that's that's the kind of brief overview of Wind Network. Happy to take anyone's questions about that, or if anyone wants to talk about it further.
Cool. Yeah, so we're super excited about. It's probably worth noting that Wind is also represents this, like, I think now an ongoing expansion of New Order's thesis, for our venture platform, right? Like, we are starting to now branch beyond DeFi, and I think you're going to start to see other segments of crypto and other opportunities be introduced through our platform. So, so stay tuned for updates on Wind. I do think we should probably, talk about Y2K, which is doing their initial farm offering November the 1st. Che, why don't you give us an update on Y2K?
Yeah, we'll be happy to. So, Y2K has been a New Order resident for a couple of months now. I think we've done a lot of things there and really kind of reimagined what structured products could be on chain. And the introduction of Y2K is finally upon us. I think it's very close. We're already having a countdown happen on Twitter. We're assuming to have the launch happen on November 1st. Granted, everything goes according to plan. As Eden mentioned, yeah, the IFO will commence on the 1st of November. So that is coming up very soon, and that's on Monday. We have been modeling the strike prices, the emission schedules, and we really wanted to make sure that the launch is very specifically around community engagement and actually growth of the protocol through utilization of the various primitives that we're introducing, and not emitting tokens kind of arbitrarily and without sense of reason. So that is happening on Monday, and just stay tuned to both the New Order channels and the Y2K channels, and we'll be very happy to take any questions as well. I think Simon is here as well to take any questions regarding it, and regarding Omar, who is the founder of Cryptblog, he'll be also happy to attend to anything you guys have.
Awesome. Cool. So what is also in motion is Basecamp. The second cohort has kicked off. The program has kicked off. Amber, let us know what's shaking over there.
Sure. Happy to give everyone an update. So as Eden mentioned, the final cohort has 8 teams. So I know Sammy and Eden already went through all of them last community call. Very strong cohorts, more innovative and broader applications than the last program. So it's not just DeFi, but also the projects in the intersection of DeFi and NFT, like use cases built on top of NFT AMMs, for example. So we have finalized the terms with all the teams. Just the 2 of them still going through contracting, and I want to go into a little bit of details of deal terms. So for each team, our equity allocation is between 0.9 to 1.5%, which is, I think, very much aligned with DAO's expectation. For the token side, the allocation varies depending on a few factors. For example, one of the project meta listings, they are building a marketplace using interactive mapping of metaverse lands. So for this project, the value would accrue on the equity side instead of token. So which means, all the revenues go back to equity, and the utility of the token will be mainly being comparable of being rewards program for the users. So in that case, we negotiated a higher allocation on equity with a discount for next round of fundraising, and took a little bit less on token side. And for another one, Super Hedge, which is building a tokenized trading strategy vault, which obviously will accrue value on the token side. So our deal will be 1% equity and 1.5 on the token. So every project is a little bit different. And generally speaking, we make sure that it fall into the range that the DAO is comfortable with, and we're confident that if the project takes off, it will accrue the value back to the DAO. So that's a little bit about deal terms. In terms of programming, right now we're working on getting to know the teams more deeply, so that we can help them set the OKRs, more tangible goals of what they need to achieve, and then in the next 3 months, either it's product, go-to-market, community. So in the next 4 weeks, we're hosting a series of workshops with different subject matter experts for teams to learn more about, for example, how to optimize their token economics, tech roadmap, legal, branding, etc. So that's what we're planning right now. And in the next week or so, we'll announce the cohort publicly. will highlight, the problem they're trying to solve, the use case and founding team. So that's very exciting. Please look out for any updates on our Twitter and a blog post.
Cool. That's great. Yeah, and if anybody's got any questions, definitely, again, feel free to drop us some questions. We're happy to answer them. Let's go to Redacted. Sammy, what's happening with you guys? We got Sammy. Okay. What might be good while we're waiting for Sammy is maybe just a little blurb on IVX, which is another project that we are going to put a DAO proposal through for incubation. Be nice to get like a little bit of background there. Or do we have Sammy? Sammy, you there?
Sammy left and rejoined.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay.
He's back now. I don't know. Does your mic
Okay.
work, bro? I see him flipping on and off mute. I think he's something wrong with his audio. Maybe a new laptop or something.
Yeah, let's give him a bit of time to get his mic going. Dre, you want to talk about IVX a little bit? Give everybody a little primer.
Yeah, happy to. So in summary, IVX is going to be the first options AMM on Arbitrum, which is extremely exciting just because of Arbitrum's propensity for launching innovative and well-adopted derivatives projects. IVX is actually probably going to be the best source of liquidity for options in terms of bid offer that you'll be able to get in DeFi. There are tons of other option solutions out there that are either charging ridiculous spreads on single option trades or are forcing you to lock money in vaults and either get diluted or get messed over by an auction mechanism or even like just bleeding capital through fees. Anyway, IVX aims to like tackle all of these problems. One of the most exciting things about IVX actually is going to be its ability to structure multi-option strategies. Right now, there are a couple of option AMMs out there, notably like there's one on Optimism, but none of them will actually allow you to go and do structured option trades. If most sophisticated option traders, they want to have, they don't want exposure to just one single type of payout. They want to enter things like spreads or butterflies or condors. And anyway, just like as a bit of alpha, that is something that will be possible. That is huge for the on-chain option space. Like I do believe that one of the biggest issues with adoption of volatility products on-chain has been the friction when it comes to like structuring these products together. So anyway, and as far as development, IVX is going to be launching before the new year. So yeah, stay tuned for that. The model is going to be pretty cool. You can either go in there and trade options to either hedge your own risks in your portfolio or speculate on the market with the option quadratic payouts, basically, or you can go ahead and earn real yield on market making these options yourself, and you don't really have to do anything. All you'll have to do is deposit assets in a vault. So that's very exciting.
Can
Cool.
you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Sorry, is there anything else you wanted to add, Andre?
No, that was perfect timing. That was all.
Okay, dope. On the redacted side of things, personally, been super busy just trying to finish up things for the Y2K launch. But other than that, we pushed out a big upgrade for Pyrex, which is our auto compounder, which allows people to sort of, trade their yield futures. So kind of like a mix of like a element or something you might have seen on Pendle, just related to VLCVX. Since the last community call, we also announced we're expanding that into GMX also. So yeah, I guess we have IVX doing GMX. We're also doing GMX. Lots of stuff going on there. Hidden Hand, we launched a few new markets on Boba, Idle, and Saddle. And yeah, just steady going along. Lots of new deployments, trying to keep scaling up the revenue to make sure we can keep up with new people joining the project and all that.
Cool. So that's redacted. Merrick, maybe we should give an update on H2O and what's happening with Poseidon Ocean.
Yeah, absolutely. So like, yeah, H2O has had an exciting couple weeks, right? Like Ocean Market, kind of like, I wouldn't say pivoted, but they made some changes to like the way the Ocean Market works. And so like H2O as a project also, I would say like, changing a little bit. There's more of an emphasis right now on the PSDN token. As everybody knows, it's a 2-token system. And, PSDN, the PSDN side is sort of becoming a liquid staking wrapper, first for VE Ocean, right? To earn some revenue, and data farming rewards from, sort of from their revamped and re-released market just very recently. Also, H2O is, talking to other projects, and creating partnerships and sort of bridges to other projects in the data economy, sort of like, sub crypto, subculture, let's say, right? So there's a lot of projects that are building data infrastructure like Filecoin. Other projects are rolling out other kind of data marketplaces and other ways for regular folks and also institutions and companies to sort of monetize their data. So stay tuned for more. I would say like integrations and partnerships from the H2O side. So far it's gotten really good reception, right? This sort of like I would almost call it a pivot for H2O, right? So there's a lot more sort of interest and excitement over it right now. So yeah, it's sort of, I would say, only the first stage in this liquid staking wrapper journey, which again is, I think has had very warm reception and quite a bit of success so far. Still early. H2O is still on its roadmap to be like multi-collateral, right? Originally it was just backed by Ocean. We also want to back it with PSDN Ocean, and then also other tokens that are going to be representative or have ties to the data economy. So that's kind of the work that's going on in parallel there. And I mean, it's going to be an exciting couple quarters, I think, coming up for H2O and Poseidon.
Very good. Let's shift gears a little bit and get into some sort of community aspects. Jay, maybe if you want to give us a little update on treasury governance items, I think that could be useful.
Yeah. I think we've established like a good niche with our treasury management. We've been very prudently scanning the landscape, and it just seems like liquidity provision and market making on GMX and hedging the exposure to volatile assets just seems to be the best bang for your buck, really, opportunity in the crypto space, to be honest. We are very focused on capital preservation and risk-adjusted returns, which really is there isn't a second best of sorts in the ecosystem. So we've been chugging along there very well. We've made 2.3% in we made 4.6% in the past 2 months, which is 2.3 per month, meaning it's nearing like 28% annualized, which I think is very respectable considering the risk levels that we're undertaking here. So that is very promising, and we want to continue being part of that particular strategy. Having said that, though, we would be very open to more considerations for various treasury management strategies. We know we have a good and large community of very smart people that we would like to funnel in for contributions, especially on the treasury management side. Whether those yields are on mainnet or layer 2 solutions or other blockchains, we'd be happy to entertain all of them. And then I would say on the governance side, obviously there's a large portion of the treasury management that goes through governance, but also we are looking towards having a budget proposal for the next quarter coming out very soon, and of course the incubation activities that we have mentioned on this call as well are going to be going up soon. So yeah, stay tuned for that. There's going to be a lot of different ideas funneling through our governance, and we would be very happy to hear the stuff you guys have.
Yeah, sorry, Che, if I could add to that, first of all, I mean, non-investment advice, right? Obviously, unless you're like a professional or, very skilled with DeFi, I don't necessarily recommend copy trading, kind of what we're doing. I know there's a lot of kind of active management stuff, and, if people don't pay attention to what they're doing, it's very easy to kind of blow up and stuff. So, also too, I mean, our goals haven't really changed. I mean, this is definitely to, support, extending our roadmap so that we can, as a DAO, build more. And, maybe lastly, I agree. It as part of this, let's call it rebooting of the sub DAOs. I even noticed in Slack, sorry, not in Slack, in Discord, very recently there've been some I think interesting proposals to consider and discuss further. So I think it'd be cool to do that in the under the Treasury sub DAO umbrella. So I think I would suggest that it'd be cool to have some kind of open community meeting in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure. And I've been reading in the general chat somebody posted regarding CVX and frag strategy, and we've also been thinking about allocating a larger portion of the treasury towards ETH, considering that we do see a medium to long term future in the ETH price, and we want to make sure that we have our treasury allocation set with alignment to our underlying goals and visions. So we'd be happy to have those conversations, and I think we should definitely set up a committee that has recurring meetings to discuss these topics, whether that happens through Commonwealth or through monthly or bi-weekly calls. We'll make sure to set something up.
Sounds good. And there has been just some recent comments about quarterly reports and things like that. That is in the works, just for everybody's knowledge. So we'll keep everybody posted on that type of disclosure as well. Let's go to Chris, who is managing research community. What's going on at Frog?
Yeah, that was a nice transition, actually. The biggest thing going on with Frogs over the past month has definitely been the rollout of Frogs Pro. I think most people probably know Frogs Anonymous it's been retail oriented the whole time we've been doing it. The business model is kind of focused on sponsored pieces, and we've been working towards selling ad space. Frogs Pro is like the B2B side of Frogs, and it focuses on selling directly to other projects. So the first product that we have offered is quarterly reports, like Eden was just talking about. We wrote 1 last quarter and 3 this quarter. We're very, very proud of the quality. People we've written for are happy too. You can check them out. The one for Trader Joe just went up on their website yesterday. Synthetics is going to put the one up that we wrote for them either today or on Monday. And we wrote one for Liquidity, which is up on their Substack, I believe. Liquidity actually signed up for an annual plan to get 4 reports, as well as a content package where we're going to be writing Frogs pieces for them once a quarter for the next year. So it feels really good to have revenue coming in. this point. We've got 3 people writing for Frogs Pro and 3 more people in the process of auditioning, so to speak. But we're going to start branching out into other products, and we're starting to find a niche for ourselves. There's kind of I would say, a developing vision where I think we're essentially Frogs Pro is going to go in the direction of being guest writers for other projects' columns, where any material that somebody needs to put out, like whether it be quarterly reports, educational content, how to use the protocols, in the future maybe like tutorial videos. We want to go in the direction of basically being a media company that anyone can use to outsource any communications that their project needs to produce. So, for one example, somebody just contacted me. They want to make a risk mitigation protocol. But they want to report about the different types of risk present in DeFi first. So they put Frogs, maybe you can cover that, and we can base some forward doing this protocol on that to give you some sense of the direction. We're also talking with a number of smaller protocols and also Twitter influencers right now about potential partnerships. So hopefully next month there'll be more shared on that. And as that's going on with Frogs Pro, Frogs Anonymous is kind of beginning to shift more in the direction not just to a retail audience, but also I would say like a consumer audience. We want to start covering things that are more relevant to people's lives. We want to start writing about crypto culture a little more. Really just things that we think are cool, we think people think is cool to read about. Covering things like DarkFi, like a layer 1 ecosystem, about privacy activists. So we're trying about Martin Shkreli's Web3 company right now. I've got a piece coming out next week about an overview of the NFT space. So that should give you some action. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Chris. Yeah, you're getting very, very choppy. I think barely able to make out what you were saying, and got pretty tough.
Wrapping up. That should give you some sense of the direction that we're going on, both with Frogs Pro and with Frogs Anonymous. So hopefully you guys get that.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Chris. And then if anybody's got any direct questions, just give us a shout. I'm happy to answer anything about Frogs. Maybe one last thing. We have got some like founder and residents sort of like working groups going. Amber, did you want to give a little mention on what those are? What's going on there?
Yeah, sure. So what happened is that when we're sourcing founders for our own incubation pipeline, we end up like speaking to many, and we feel like they're high potential future founders. You know, they're passionate about Web3, about DeFi, and really good at their own domain, but maybe not necessarily a great match to our current pipeline. So this new initiative or experiment, if I may, and it's called like Founder in Residence Working Group. Basically, we're treating it as a pre-incubation phase, meaning that we're supporting them, like 6 people at the moment, in terms of giving feedback on what they want to build and help them research and develop product. So we had 2 sessions so far. Mostly it's them come up with like problem statement, things they see in the market, and we brainstorm together on the ideas. So obviously some ideas are better than the others, but our hope is that in 6 weeks' time, we can work towards a venture fundable project idea. And, you know, it will go through our incubation selection and DAO voting. Then hopefully we'll launch those projects with them being founders. So I think will be really good as for them to get more engaged with our community, our Discord. Of course, it will be, you know, up to them whether they want to share details, what they are working on. But regardless, I think in 1 or 2 months' time, they should have something to present to our DAO.
Cool. And so, yeah, I mean, I think this represents sort of like almost like a test case for how we can work with founders that where we don't necessarily have a project for them, but we could potentially sort of get to that point. So very useful, and I imagine like if this goes well, we will scale this out to a reasonable level. I think that's covers everything. Everything for the October update. If we missed anything, definitely let me know. But I would say that, once again, it's super exciting, like a ton of cool stuff happening with New Order and Y2K right around the corner here. So we're all, I think, hyped about that. So I'll leave it at that. I think again, if there's any questions, drop us a line, and we're happy to answer them.
Yeah, so I think we can close out here. Everyone, please, the team will be around async. Feel free to at them if you have any specific questions. And look out for our next community event. It's not going to be a poker event. It's going to be something more interesting. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And thanks everyone for coming out.
Yeah, we'll we just thought we would mix it up a bit, right? Instead of doing poker every time. I think we've done what, two or three poker games now. I think poker will return because it's probably like going to be a community favorite, I imagine. But yeah, they're going to mix it up for next time. So I don't know if we've announced what that is, but it should be a fun surprise.
Yeah, we stay tuned for that.
Okay.
Okay,
All
well,
right. Thanks, everybody.
thanks everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Everyone, bye.
All right, thanks, guys. See ya.